encourage everybody here is to truly, like, don't think that right now you have time. Like, you're building your resume from the point you walk in as a freshman. I don't know where everybody falls right now, but from freshman, sophomore, junior, senior year, like, you're building your resume. And all this stuff is going to be critical as far as you going up to that next level. And one thing that I did is I was just like, I was comfortable with, like, you know, as a freshman, I tested in the all honors class. I dropped every one except for math, because math was my favorite subject. So I was like, I want to be challenged in math. But I don't need to necessarily honor biology or whatever the case may be. So I walked in, I was the only black, coming from Keller, coming from Robin. I don't like, because all my friends were in, you know, just regular classes, so I dropped out. I dropped all of them. I went home, told my mom they were too tough, convinced her. She didn't care. She just wanted me to have good grades. So she said, okay, well, if they're too tough, as long as you bring home good grades, it doesn't matter. But what it did was I went down to now these regular classes, and they moved at a slower pace for me. And, you know, as they moved at a slower pace, we got through less curriculum by the end of the year. And that was fine by me, but when I got off to college, I realized just how much I hadn't been exposed to. And it's not about, I try to make the distinction for people all the time about knowledge and intelligence. And that's why I talked about it in the book. Because some people will perceive, because somebody has more knowledge than me, that they're smarter than me. Well, smart and intelligence is talking about an IQ. And that's what you're born with. So I use it like a box. Everybody has different sized boxes. Okay? Somebody might have a box this size, somebody might have a box this size, somebody might have a box like this big. And that's really IQ. The knowledge part of it is just you filling that box. And so everybody has a different capacity of how much they can put inside of that box. So that's really just the knowledge side of it. So I felt like I had a pretty decent sized box. I just hadn't put enough into it. So now I'm going into classes and I have professors talking to me about things like it's common knowledge. And I'm sitting here like, I don't have a clue. So I felt like, again, I'm dumb. Everybody else is sitting here. They're not raising their hand. I don't belong here. You start talking yourself out of the situation. But one thing that football taught me and being an athlete taught me is that I'm never going to give up. And I saw everything as a challenge. So you see school as a challenge, you see succeeding in life as a challenge, whatever the case may be, and you're going to fight. And you feel like you're back into a wall, you're going to come out, you're going to fight. And that's what I did. So honestly, I was placed on academic probation as my first quarter in Northwestern. And part of that was playing as a true freshman. I'm traveling with the team, so we're missing class every Friday. And now I'm having to play catch up. So I'm going into this system that's new to me. We're on a quarter system that's moving faster. And again, I'm already feeling like I'm a little bit behind just from a knowledge standpoint. And then I'm traveling. So that was just a recipe for disaster. But once I was able to weather the storm and get through all of that, I realized, okay, it doesn't seem so scary. It's not like slaying a dragon once you realize, okay, it's just the knowledge. So I went out and bought some things and picked up those things, just tried to learn on the fly. I asked for help from people that I needed to get, and I moved forward. So. You got to understand that you compete with everybody. See, if I would apply my football mentality to my school mentality, I would have been much better off in high school. Because as a football player, it was no question. Coach Moore might disagree, but it was no question I was the best player on the team. I mean, that's just flat out the truth, right? But I wasn't okay with being just the best player on the team. And then it got to a point where I was looked at as the best player in the area. And then I was looked at as maybe being one of the top running backs in the state. I wanted to be the best player in the nation. So if I want to be the best player in the nation, it was like every day I'm waking up, me and Coach Moore, we're going to run to the school as our warm-up from Robbins, from the whole project. We're going to run there. That's our warm-up. Now we're going to start our workout. That type of attitude and that type of drive, if you would take that and then apply that from an academic standpoint, I would have been I've been much better off. But again, growing up in the environment I grew up in, more credence or more importance was placed onto sports. So that's why I put so much importance. But now being where I'm at today, if I could do it all over again, I would apply that same type of importance in my academics. You know, I use the analogy for anybody that's familiar with like track and field. I use the analogy of like a high jump. And if you're doing a high jump competition, you know, you'll have everybody go and they take their 3 jumps, whatever, and every time they'll keep increasing the bar. Where the great high jumpers, they won't start at a lower level. They've already qualified to say 6 foot and 10 or 7 foot, so they're not going to waste time jumping over something that's 5 foot. They're going to wait until they raise the bar, and then it's their time to jump. And then once they jump, even if they win, say they jump 7 foot height, well, they've won that competition, but they're still trying to create a personal best. So they'll keep jumping and try to see if they can jump higher. And that's what I'm talking about, is maximize your potential. Like, even when you won everything, even when you set the bar high, you can't attempt it until you fail. So that's really what you should do. I mean, you should keep trying until you truly fail. I feel like you're really trying to maximize your potential. If you don't fail at least once in life, you haven't. You just coasted through life. Truly, you have. If you haven't failed, you've coasted. So you should embrace it. You should embrace failure and understand that the only true way to fail is to not try. But if you try, there's no way you can truly fail, because you'll find other things that will come out of your failure. Like I said, my writing was birthed out of me not making it as an NFL football.